Good banter. That's some good banter.
Hit it.
Good to go?
Good to go.
Hello and welcome to episode 28 of Good Banter. And wow, something a bit different this week. We've been here before, but we are backstage at the Comics Lounge in Errol Street, North Melbourne.
We are, and sitting on the couch together, Tommy. I like it. I like it. We can touch each other. We can do it all if you're watching on the YouTube. And Jim Owen has just jumped off stage and he's pissed off, and we're hanging around and doing a pod.
So it's as the regular listeners will know, we find it hard to catch up. Both very busy. So I was emceeing for Jim Owen here on a Tuesday night,
and I was just hanging in the toilet, being a creep,
just getting your creep on. So we thought, why not take advantage of both being in the same place and film a quick Poddy Pod, and here we are. So plenty happening in the world of Tom and Evan. Because I'm heading off tomorrow morning, going up to Queensland for work for the day job.
So you're going up to Brisbane?
Higher than Brisbane, going up sort of Noosa way, which is it's going to be sweet.
Oh, nice, baby! You're taking the speedos,
taking the boardies, except the weather's going to be shit. But one thing I am excited about, because I used to travel a lot for work, at least probably once or twice a month I'd be away. Probably once every fortnight I'd be away for at least 2 or 3 nights. And I used to take advantage of the hotel time and take my clippers and I'd shave my pubes.
Okay, well, we did play a few games of football together, maybe 2015, and I can't remember. From what I recall, I don't think you were huge on in your late 30s. Now you're in your early 40s. I'm thinking, plus married, 3 kids. I think, clipper time for Tom has been fallen way by the wayside.
It's definitely fallen by the wayside, but I've got the clippers. They were the dog's clippers, and when the dog sadly passed, they became my clippers. So look, I wouldn't say it's a great deal.
So are you sort of going the poodle sort of cut with your, what do you call
there's
your
not
pubes?
There's not a lot of technique to it. I just go the maybe the number 3 sort of.
3? You got to go shorter, I reckon.
Maybe it's shorter than that. I don't know.
Sure.
Maybe it's 2 or maybe it's even 1. I don't know.
Go 0.5.
But anyway, it's great because if you shave your pubes at home, it's like, you got to deal with blocking the shower drain, or you got them in the bathroom floor, and also the kids around.
You could also sweep them up.
It's a bloody nightmare, sort of.
Well,
the kids being
child
around.
Services usually get called when you're doing that kind of shit.
There's nothing in a hotel room. You're by yourself. You bloody don't care about making a mess. The only person that's got to know is the poor little cleaner that's got to deal with the bloody Sasquatch.
Exactly right.
That's bloody laying on the floor. So it's good. So I'm looking forward to getting up there and
I tell you,
a bit of
lucky
work
you're not
shaving those pubes.
You, have you got more pube talk? So you're taking the clippers with you?
I'll take the clippers with me. Might even go a 3 for the chest. I've got really long sort of.
You're a hairy man,
nipple
Tom.
hair. So I'll shave a little bit of the chest area, that little tuft that pops up underneath the shirt, which is a pretty average look.
Give the shoulders a go.
They're more, there's this sort of, my wife's got this thing called an epilady, and it's a fucking violent little machine.
It rips. I remember seeing remember the ads for them where you see it, and it looks like, it's like the Viet Cong tunneling in and ripping out their hairs.
It's not unlike the machine they're using. I saw it, we were over in Footscray the other day and saw that big, that massive fucking machine that they're using to
bore the tunnel.
That's like a giant epilady. It's sort of boring its way through.
That's the model
Melbourne.
they've gone off, I think.
Yeah. And I tell you, and on the ad, I remember it looked quite, almost quite relaxing for that
the
girl.
women didn't see, and their legs looked nice. There was beautiful music playing. They looked like, and the ones under the arms, they were just ripping out the hairs from under their arms. It looked actually quite therapeutic.
It is
like a massage.
It's fucking violent. And it shoots them all out, just fucking whips them. Like, they don't go anywhere. It just shoots them across the room. And Yeah, the old epilady. It's so I might use the epilady on my shoulders.
Okay.
And bloody it's a bit going on to keep this.
So you're going
although
to-
I used to. Now I don't give a fuck. I've got the hairy shoulder and the hairy bloody.
Have you ever waxed?
Oh fuck no.
I waxed.
Agonising.
I waxed me balls one time in.
Oh Jesus! I couldn't think of any worse.
In Bali. I was actually over there with Justin Nelson, and while he was getting a foot massage and getting his hair permed, I thought, I might try and get a bit of a routine out of this or something. Some
The
poor
old back sack and crack, as they call it.
girl. Yeah, I got, and I'm not that hairy. It didn't actually hurt as much as what I thought it would, but you definitely need the tense skin because the old saggy skin on the sack is.
Did you wait till your balls were?
Well, I didn't want to get a fat or anything like that. So, and I find if I wax it, my dick tends to sort of want no part of it and sort of tends to shrivel up a bit, actually.
Oh yeah.
So it's quite embarrassing.
So some poor girl had to do that.
Yeah,
God,
ass, sack, but she didn't do a great job. But also, I probably wasn't a great model because
there's not enough money in the world.
That's bad news.
That's a shit job. And in Bali, it's hot and sweaty. I hope you bloody were showered up beforehand.
Oh, definitely showered up.
You're a gentleman.
Or been in the pool. But
You
one
are
thing,
a gentleman.
So because I did stay in a shithole. I mentioned last week, and I was all over the joint. I was Cairns. I was up. I smoked. I had my first bong in about 20 years while I was up in Cairns.
Yeah.
And, were you much of a bong smoker when you were?
Well, I wasn't, but I lived in a house where I don't reckon the cone cooled down for 3 years. I reckon it was constantly fucking alight. And yes, but I was always very sporty. So don't get me wrong, I was no angel. I was bloody
doing other stuff,
trashing my body and brain in plenty of other different ways. But but the bong was never something. Did I tell you a story about? No, I was telling this story, and quickly you can get back to your bong in a second.
Yeah, no, that's all right.
There was
There's
a
nothing
guy.
much to talk about.
I met a guy, and his name at a footy club just 2 nights ago. No, 2 nights ago. This is 2 weeks ago, and the guy's name was Booger.
Booger.
And I was like, I had a mate called Booger, and I said, "What have you called Booger?" And apparently, he just always picked his nose. And I said, "Oh well." But my mate Booger, what? So everyone used to get so stoned at this house that I was living at. As I said, the bong was just on constant fucking rotation. People would come in, walk out, but it was constantly going around. And there was a guy, he left the room, and it was his bong next, and everyone picked a Booger and put it in his cone,
in the cone,
and just sprinkled the top with little bit of greenery and he just went and sucked down basically a cone of Booger.
That's not too bad though, is it? I'm sure there's probably worse. And were they running?
It's enough to get a nickname.
It's enough
Booger.
to get a nickname, which you
enough to
don't
get a
like.
nickname,
And
Booger.
were they running the? Did they buy the bong, or were they running the little juice bottle and the hose?
It was the juice bubble. They were always pretty creative, but they'd always have a really quite a long pipe.
Long pipe.
Yeah, a long arm, whatever you call it.
Pipe.
So there was there were a few maybe little purchased ones going away, but they did like to make their own, the boys.
Yeah, wow. You learn that as a kid, don't you? Just make do with what you can. Yeah, so basically, I think cans, because I'd had a few joints and whatever when I was younger, maybe a toke of it, but the bong always had the stigma about it.
It's a
the
different
bong
game.
head and this. And anyway, after one of the gigs, because cans seems like, they were just, they love the fucking bong. And
Wodonga's fairly heavy on the bong.
Yeah, so after the gig on the Saturday night, I had a bit of a toke of a joint, and then one of the boys was just heavy on the bong. I said, and first I said, can I have your little ghosty, the little bit at the end of the bong where there's still a little bit of the bong smoke coming out. I said, give me a bit of the ghosty, I was a bit fired up. I'd had a few beers. I had a toke of a joint. I said, let's take me back to and I was never right into it, but I had the bit of the ghosty, and then all right, let's not fuck around. I'll load her up, leave the boogers out, but give me a go of the old the bong, and it wiped me right out.
Wiped you right out. You didn't get the coughs because I used to. That's another reason I didn't like, because a lot fitter than my mates smoking bongs, but they were bong fit. So I'd have one. And once you start coughing, but they had lungs.
Yeah, you might be able to do a 16.4 on the beep test, but can you knock back fucking 5
but these guys
bongs a
would
night?
just suck them down like it was nothing. And once you get the coughs up and you get that hot lung, I used to look like a fucking amateur hour.
I thought I was doing
pathetic.
pretty badly because I started going, oh, fuck, I can see why people have it because it just fucking knocks you out.
Oh, yeah. If you want, I guess, money for bang for your buck, you're better off, I assume, sucking down a couple of cones than rolling a joint.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, bang for you. If you got stuff you're worried about, or I can't sleep, what's going on, just have a bong. Because I was out, another bloke was asleep on the couch. Like I thought I was doing shit house, but there's 3 blokes who were asleep around me. I go, I think I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
So that was a bong.
But I used to hate it. Like, we'd always plan stuff at our house. We'd be like, this is when we all first moved down to Melbourne. And we'd all be like, all right, what we'll do is we'll go kick the footy and then we'll bloody go up get something to eat. And then we'll go get a couple of beers. It'd be great. And the boys would be, we'll just quickly
have a bong.
Suck down a couple of cones. And then I'd come back with me footy gear and it'd be like, we're not going to kick the footy, are we, boys? And it's just fucking zombie hour. But,
it's so bizarre.
They'd be giggling away. So I never really got into it. But hey, good on you. It's never
too. I don't think it's going to take off.
Maybe you'll get back into it.
No, I don't think so. No. I don't think so. No, it's not all. But I did stay in a shithole of a hotel in Brisbane. You were talking about shaving your pubes. I think someone would be murdered in this joint because I had a night in Brisbane. This is a few weeks ago when I was coming from Cairns, the bong capital of Australia. I flew into Brisbane. I had a gig in Brisbane. I thought, I just want some cheap accommodation. I don't want anything too flashy.
Yep.
So I just got online, what if, or budget, or whatever it was. And the options were like, $200. I'm not spending $200 on it.
No.
I went for a $75 option, bargain basement price. And you look at the photos, they just show the room. You think, how bad can this joint
I reckon the general rule is anything under 100 is going to be pretty fucked.
Yeah, you're in a bit of strife. And it wasn't a backpackers. It was, so I get the Uber out from the airport. I look it up, the Talbot bloody hotel or whatever. And you can sort of tell early on, it's down this little side street. And you can sort of tell the clientele that were maybe hanging out the front of this hotel that they weren't on the bongs. They were on something else. They were a bit more juiced up.
They're on the heavies.
Than on the bongs. Like they're fired up. They got the tats going. They're what's going on? And I reckon people who are maybe on the pipe or a bit juiced. You got to treat them a bit like a fucking dog, don't you? Like a pit bull. You can't show your fear.
No,
I don't think.
No, that's a good point. They can sense it. They don't like things getting weird. So you just go like, hey, buddy, how you going?
Hey,
good.
That's what I found because you're a bit intimidating. They go, hey, boys, what's going on? And they're like, hey, what's going on, champ? Blah, blah, blah. I walk in there and a joint shit when the reception area has like, it was like those steel doors around it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going, oh, fuck.
No,
I really lucked out here. And it was one of those ones where I got in the lift, I went up to my room and I didn't want to bump into anyone because the people who were walking out of this, I thought, fuck, I could get murdered. And in the room, I thought, I sort of feel safe. But, on the way down to the gig, I hopped in the lift. I was on level 3. The door stopped at level 2 and this woman got in. She was pretty rough.
Yep.
And she must have been a prostitute. I think she had the knee high. But she goes, "G'day, Dales, how you going?"
Okay.
And I just hit the emergency stop, and we had a good time.
Yeah, well, $75.
No, you got to go. You got to go more.
Yeah, I think $75 is okay for a backpacker hostel.
Backpackers. I should have gone backpackers.
You might get your own room or something at a hostel, but $75 for a hotel.
This was a crack den.
Yeah, is pretty shitful. I remember once. This is my mate and I were in Montreal, and so we just had one night stopover in Montreal. We were fucking broke. We had to try and we were trying to get to the United States. We were catching up with people where we could stay. We'd sort of be living large, but we were running out of cash, and we stayed at this backpacker hostel. And I remember it was maybe $18 a night, and we remember thinking it was freezing, and we'd slept in a park for a couple of nights, and it was we're
That's
doing
an upgrade.
We were living rough, but we thought, fuck, one night we've just got to have a shower. We've got to get our shit sorted. So we stayed in this hostel, and it was about probably, mate, I'm going to say $20 22, 24 beds in this, and it was probably only me and my mate and maybe 3 other international travellers. I thought this isn't too bad. We're the only ones in here. It's safe. What could go wrong? Anyway, so it wasn't. I reckon it was midnight where all of a sudden you just hear this and all this fucking sound.
Rumbling?
Yeah, it just sounded like all the stuff, like something was happening. There was lights flickering, and at 12 o'clock, little to what we didn't realise is they let in the homeless people. So probably about 16, 17 homeless people dragged their fucking bags of shit up, and all of a sudden just jumped in
your room,
in our room, into the remaining beds. We're like,
none about
fucking hell, like so I don't know whether they gave discount, maybe $5 or I don't know. We just laid there terrified. We just grabbed our bags and sort of just held our bags. You don't need that shit.
No, you don't need that at all. I was over in Liverpool. This is about a bit under 10 years ago, and we were catching up with a mate, Fletch, who he was from Port Douglas. I was travelling with 2 mates from Port Douglas.
Yeah.
And we went to the Cavern, which is where the Beatles were
nice.
Formed. Yeah, so we met.
Formed? Were they met?
That's where they used to play. It's like where they cut their teeth.
Where they jammed.
They jammed, and we met Fletch there, and he's a mad Liverpool pommy bloke, and we're meant to be staying because his mum. She lives in Liverpool, so we're staying. We've come from fucking. Where'd we come from? We'd come from bloody Europe somewhere. We're 5 weeks into this overseas trip, and we'll meet Fletch in Liverpool. We'll stay at his mum's joint. Sweet as bloody great. It's going to be fantastic. We're all ready to go. Fletch gets shit faced. He leaves his phone in the Cavern, and we've got our bags. We've got everything. We go, where the fuck is he? It's like 2 o'clock in the morning. We're like, what the fuck are we going to do now? We've got no idea. We can't get onto him. Got no idea where his mum lives. So we ended up grabbing our bags, and we were just sleeping like in the, how the banks, you got like the banks and there's like the doors. So we just huddled in, fucking freezing, piss and rain. The 3 of us had just huddled up together, and this dude, like, he introduced himself. I get it. My name's Robbie, and he's got all the meth teeth, or hardly any. And he comes up and he starts spooning us and shit like this. We're like, what the fuck's going on? We don't need that. We end up finding like one of those cheap accommodation joints, and they let us in. They said, nah, fucking not you. Robbie was a regular in there. They said, nah, fuck off, Robbie. Get out of here. We ended up finding a joint for the night and spooned a homeless bloke. And we found out Fletch ends up, he rings us the next day. He finally gets onto us and goes, I don't know what the fuck happened. And no shit, Fletch. But we slept on the streets and then ended up spooning a homeless bloke. And we made it, though. It was all good.
Go fuck yourself, Fletch.
Fuck you, Fletch.
So, I don't miss that as you get a bit older. Some things you miss about being younger, but I don't think I miss that. Like, sometimes not knowing where you were going to sleep and all that sort of
you
shit.
just want a bed. Yeah. You want a nice, comfortable bed. You don't want to deal with it.
Better.
So,
but, geez, there's a fair bit. We got plenty to talk about. We got what can we? What can
you
we
go,
talk
mate.
About? I've
wasted the time there.
I did the Talbot. The gigs are back. The footy clubs are going great. I did a nice gig Saturday night.
Country gig.
Beautiful. Talbot Footy Club. Really appreciative. Football and netball club. This joint, and I reckon they've slowly watched, because they haven't, because I walked into the room and I was just like, into their club rooms, I was just like, fuck me, this joint is like something out of the 1960s. But everything was... So
where is Talbot? Run us through. Burger!
No dramas. So Talbot's about 50 Ks past Ballarat.
Hey!
John Burgos, who was one of the support acts
horny
tonight.
devil, the annoying devil.
Was it? What was that from?
He was on like the Comedy Channel.
What was that show called?
I don't know.
I can't remember. But anyway, it was quite big.
It was a fucking huge show.
So anyway, so this joint, it was funny. It just had this and then I've put pics up on my Facebook page, but they had things in their room that I think they'd just become accustomed to and they didn't think it was weird. But for me, walking in as an outsider was like, and I had to point them out that, guys, this is not This is not normal. This
like a moose head.
They had a chip machine, like salt and vinegar chips, that must have been 40 years. Look, I've never seen a chip machine like it. It was like
I think you did post that photo, and it was like it wasn't even like the big one you see at the station.
No,
or something like that, or the airport.
It was like a
it's just like
safe, like a safe, just with, and I just said to people, and they were just finding it so hilarious that they were like, oh wow, maybe that is pretty fucked up, and I just said. That is not a normal chip machine. And I said, and there was one packet in there, and I said, how long's that fucking packet of chips been in there? Everyone's going, oh, I've never really thought about it. And you were like, has anyone tried to get that packet of chips out? And like during the break, everyone was in there trying to put in $2. But this thing,
you must have known it was an old chip machine when they're putting pennies in there.
Yeah, well, that's what we're saying, shillings, and I took shillings, but the didn't take $2 coins or $1 coins. So
Jesus!
This thing was old.
That's fucking old.
And they had this fucking medieval water machine, water cooler. I've never seen anything like it. Their showers were just because you go to every shower block in Melbourne now, and it's got
they're all urinals.
It's got the dividers.
No good.
No good. But this thing was fucking filthy. It was something else, but
that's tinny.
But it was
tinny, just
yeah.
tinny.
But it was just a great footy club, a great time, great people. All the girls on the VB cans.
Oh, don't you love that? Where is it again? Did you say
about 50 k's past Ballarat?
Okay, so it's not that far.
No, it's not. And a lot of I think they've got to get a lot of the players from Ballarat
or Sovereign Hill.
So it was the town didn't. Oh, and then no phone reception. Like
wow,
so
that's old school. That's good.
Yeah, so it was a little trip down memory lane going to Talbot, but great folk. It was a great drive home. Oh, except they all said, watch out for the roos. And as you know, I've hit a few roos. So it should have been a 2-hour trip. It was probably 3 hours. I was going pretty slow.
Slowed it right down.
Yeah. But I didn't see a roo. But it's good to it's good to be back doing some good country gigs.
Some characters up there, mate. I'm sure there'd be some
plenty
characters
of
characters.
In the country. There was a guy called Flaps. Flaps, which is a
how do you get
a guy
that?
Nicknamed Drugs. There was Microphone Head because his head looked like a microphone.
Yeah.
There was just your typical country good folk. They got pumped. I rocked up. It was pissing down rain. They had a fucking sprinkler out on the oval, pumping water out. It was just
showing off, really, aren't they?
Absolute shit show up there, but it was good fun and good gig, and good to be out doing the footy clubs again.
Yeah, well, I had a weekend off this weekend, and obviously I'd been away. Kristen had been working, so we thought, Saturday night off.
Yeah, nice.
Cha-ching, what are we going to do? And I thought maybe, because sometimes with Kristen, you never know. You've got to, you don't want to surprise her, because if you surprise her with something that she doesn't like, she goes, this is shit.
Yeah.
But she sort of had the same thinking, said, well, let's do something. I thought maybe go out for dinner.
Yep.
She said, well, fuck this. We're going out for Mother's Day breakfast in Albert Park on Sunday. Let's book just a hotel in the city.
What a great idea.
Just on and she said, I told her about the fucking shithole in Brisbane. She said, I'm not letting you book it because I don't want to sleep with it. I don't want to stay in a crack den. So I ended up staying at just Quest Apartments.
What do they charge?
Oh, that might have been $220 a night.
Okay,
so
that's
fair
about
upgrade.
That's about what you got to pay to stay somewhere decent.
I think you do. Yeah. Otherwise, you know what you're getting into. You're going to bump into hookers in the or drug dealers in the lift. So she wasn't up for that. And then we thought, where are we going to go for dinner? So we went to the. Have you ever been to the Osborne in
the Osborne
Commercial Road, South
Yarra?
No,
I have not.
Well, it's a little bit of I think around South Yarra. I never really lived around that area, but it's sort of South Yarra's a bit pretentious.
It can be.
For my liking. And, walked into the Osborne. I go, this joint is...
wanky?
Very, very wanky. Like everyone's sort of, they walk in, they have their lips done, they have their, the Botox and... the music was pumped. It was like,
Okay.
We're trying to have dinner.
Yeah,
and it just wasn't really my scene.
Was it a bar/restaurant?
It was a bar. It was more one of your rooftop bars. That's the joint that everyone was... we had dinner, we had a drink, we went up to the rooftop and we thought, I'm 39, she's 34 almost, and that's not quite our scene on a Saturday night.
Yep.
It was a bit busy. It was a bit too much happening. I found everyone was a bit... everyone was on the coke or something. Everyone was a bit amped up, you know.
Yeah,
like a few young blokes sort of walked past me and got the chest out. I'm like, put it and shut it down, dickhead. I'll probably do nothing about it. But because it's like when... You mean to Bali and shit like that?
Only when I was young.
Yeah. See, did all your mates, did they want to go to... It's like when you go to Bali, you know, when people want to go to like Potato Head and all these fancy joints in Bali. I'm like, fuck that.
You can go there in Melbourne.
You can go there in Melbourne. Like, I don't want to go to all these pretentious joints where you're paying $15 for a fucking beer.
You want to go to some shitty hut where you can drink a bintang
shitty
for
joint
30 cents.
30 cents. There's a dog rooting another dog. It's got rabies. And you're like,
it's assholes hanging out.
This is
That's
Bali.
What you want. That's what you want. Bali. You want to have to hold on to your wallet because some little fucking 8-year-old's going to knock it off.
That's
you
exactly
want the Bali
right.
experience.
You want people coming up trying to sell you fucking a piece of shit.
You want to get your hair braided. You want to scrap on with some locals out the front. You want the Bali experience.
That's the Bali experience. So, yeah, the Osborne, it's for certain people. If you want to get on the coke and have a bit of fun, go for it. But not my scene, Tommy. It was a good night, though. It was a good night. We had fun and just good to chill out, relax in Melbourne.
Yeah, nice one. Yeah,
so that was it.
That's good. No, that's good. So, what else? So I did a gig, an interesting one, Anzac Day. Something a little bit different out at the what's the footy club called?
There's a lot in Melbourne.
Yeah, no, this one's out. With Brett Delidio.
Lidsey.
Yeah, Lids. At Devon Meadows. Footy
that's
club.
a good one.
Yes,
it's a good one.
So Delidio's. Lids is playing a bit of footy out there. So,
he loves it.
So that was his first game. It was, and I don't know what they're paying him per game. But
he's only a few years out, isn't he?
Yeah, and looking fit as a fiddle. But he was saying
always looked good.
He hasn't played any footy since, and anyway, so it was a pretty sweet deal because they got him they did him a luncheon. The luncheon there was 120 people there.
Yeah,
they had 2 footy jumpers. Actually, they had 4 footy jumpers. So 2 Richmond ones, 2 Devon Meadows ones.
Yep.
He signed all of them, personally signed them. They made over $4,000 just from the auctioning off these jumpers. Okay. So I don't know, he couldn't have been charging much more than $4,000, could he? And he also plays. No. So he did the lunch.
So it's just a one-off.
No, apparently he's been playing a few, and he's going very well, apparently.
Yeah.
And, so I interviewed him. He's a lovely guy.
Country boy. Kyabram, was he?
Yep. Yeah, he plays a pretty straight bat, but you try and ask him a few questions. He's pretty good. And anyway, I thought, so I had all these questions the night before. Whenever just because of the gigs, you get asked to interview quite a few footballers. And all I do is jump on Wikipedia, and I quite enjoy it. You find out things about people you didn't know. Like I found out that he was in that Australia's fittest man competition. We lost to... bloody Slater and
Billy Slater.
Billy Slater.
Yeah.
And Billy Slater came second, and first was some fucking car driver.
Oh, apparently car drivers you've got to be pretty fit. You lose a lot of weight in those cars.
Which surprised me.
Surprises me.
So he came third. So I had all these questions about that, and I was asking him about how he feels about Richmond Premiership players automatically getting a life membership, which I thought was a good question.
That's and that
was
question.
That was my first question right off the bat, and he goes, "Mate, I fucking hate it."
Yeah, because he would have played. He played 200.
Oh yeah, easily. Yeah. So he earned it, and he went through the tough times, and then all of a sudden, someone. Well,
Pickett
in his first game.
First game. Is that his name?
Pickett, yeah, Marley.
Yeah, Marlon Pickett.
Marlon Pickett. He became a life member after one game. So
you
could see how, anyway, he wasn't impressed with that. And then one of my other questions down the track was, is he going to regret, looking back now, does he regret going to GWS? And that was my big
big closer.
That was my big closer.
Well done, mate.
And
could go either way. Then.
Yeah, it could go either way. And I was like, that's a really because we'd had a few laughs, rah through, and I thought that's going to be my big closer. Anyway, so I'm chatting with him before the interview, just having a chat about life and kids and rah, and then he told this story. He goes, I said, how do you enjoy coming back to local footy? He goes, oh mate, it is different because you can. when you're at the MCG, you can't hear anything. You can hear a scream, this roar, but you can't hear individual comments.
No.
Local footy, you can hear every little insult.
You're
and he said people
pigeon
think
chest.
He said people think they can just say shit to you.
Yes.
They think it's their right, even in the street. And he goes, for example, he went and trained with them the Thursday night before this game, and he said he's just running laps, and there were about 50 on the track, and there was a young little cockhead with long hair just in front of everyone and goes, hey, Lids, why did you go to GWS? You could have stayed at Richmond and won premierships. Why'd you go to GWS? And Lids said, mate, and I tell you what, when anyone asks me about that, ask me anything, anyone asks me about that, I just fucking walk off. And I was like, and I was about to ask him that question. And I was like,
so he said that before.
So that was before. And I was like, oh, Jesus.
So what was your big closer after that?
I think he's got a collection. I also read he had a collection of hats. So that was not quite as big a closer, but I asked him about his collection of hats. So
are they NBA hats?
Yeah, no, he does. Because he was sponsored by Starter. Oh, no. New Era.
Never heard of it.
New Era. They were the ones that sort of replaced Starter.
Well, no, it's a New Era.
Yeah. So
Starter were good though, weren't they?
Starter
you would
cap.
have had a few Starter caps.
A couple of Starter caps, nothing. Yeah, but it's now New Era. I don't think Starter still around.
No, I don't know.
But anyway, so absolutely dodged a bullet because I nearly asked him that question in front of 120 people at a luncheon before he's about to run out to play footy, and he would have because we'd built a bit of a relationship. He would have fucking cracked the shits at me. So
it's a fair question though, but it's just one that. But
it's just such a massive part of his footy career.
Yeah.
And
he was such a great player for Richmond for so long, so loyal. And then he said, fuck it, I'm out. And who else did that? Well, Bucks did that.
Yeah.
He played a year for Brisbane, and then I'm going to Collingwood to play in some premierships. And Brisbane won 3.
Funnily enough, the last time I ever spoke to Lids before the last luncheon was grand final morning at the same footy club in 2016.
Devon Meadows.
Okay. They hold a massive grand final luncheon, breakfast. And I rang them. They organised this gig. So this was 2016.
Yep.
Grand final breakfast. We're all organising. I was emceeing,
Well
and they said, "Oh, do your first comedy spot at it'll be at 7:15 a.m." And I was like,
"Great,
fuck, it's too early." I said, "Just so you know, it's gonna be pretty flat." And they said, "Get here at 6:30." Rah. So I've got there at 6:30. This joint was rocking. So the keg started pulling at 6:30 a.m. By the time I got on, this joint was rocking. A lot of people hadn't slept, admittedly, and it was just rocking. If half these people made it to the grand final, the opening band's be a fucking miracle. But I interviewed Lids then as a Richmond player, and my big closing question then was, what's more important to you, being a one-club player or playing in a premiership?
Ooh.
And at that time, it was like, either is he going to start Richmond and go through the inevitable not playing finals, or is he going to go to GWS and play in a flag? The option of staying at Richmond and winning a premiership was not even on the fucking radar. Like that was not an option. And he laughed and he goes, "That is a good question." And everyone actually clapped and said, "Great question." And he said, "Mate, I can't answer. I think I've always wanted to be a one club player."
Yes.
2 weeks later, he signs at GWS. 12 months later, poor fucker's had his heart broken.
Oh yeah, it's a tough one.
Yeah,
it's a tough one. It's a bad decision. It's a bad decision from Lids.
Yeah, in hindsight. But I've got a Richmond mate that I was having this conversation with the other day, and he reckons the players they got out of that deal are now such an important part of that premiership.
Yes.
So would it have happened?
Life members now.
And they're all life members.
Which
so,
Lids hate you.
Yeah, well, mate, I reckon this joint might have fucking shut up.
Quickly,
so,
we do have to quickly do, because we did have some fact-checking that we needed from Big D. He's come through with the goods again, so let me just get on to...
Is that my drink?
Get on to... that's yours, I think, actually.
Beauty.
I think that's 2 weeks old, so I don't know. Have a drink, have a go. Here we go. So Big D's hit us up again. Now, we had a few questions last week. Now, you pumped out you said you don't like cockheads anymore. You don't...
Suffer fools?
Yes. And what does I don't suffer fools mean? because you thought, is that a saying? And I sort of questioned. I go, oh, I don't know if it is. Well, here we go. What does "I don't suffer fools" mean? Or "to suffer fools gladly" phrase. If you do not suffer fools gladly, you are not patient with people who you think are stupid. So you're obviously not patient with me. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Yeah. But we just double checked. Yeah. She doesn't suffer fools gladly, and in her view, most people are fools. So he's checked that, and that has come up. Trumps. And here we go. Can your phone get viruses? We were we were worried about that
because a lot of people would look up porn,
and I think with you going to the hotel tomorrow, this could be a huge bit of information for you. There's an easy answer. It doesn't. So scroll away, buddy.
Thank the good Lord.
You Pornhub away. Anyway, phones can't get viruses, but they can get other forms of malware, and many people incorrectly referred to viruses on Android or iPhone viruses when they mean malware in general. So you can't get viruses on a phone.
Well, the next question would be, what is malware? What the fuck is malware? But
anyway,
some good answers.
So
he's good,
mate.
He's good.
And he said that the episodes are getting better and better. That's a great fact.
That's a fact.
That's a great
That's a fact
from D. So we appreciate that. And
so that's another rep. We better get out of here because I think the lounge is closed. And I think we're stuck. We can free here to.
That's right. We're on the get on the YouTube. I think as we speak, the YouTube is 24 hours from last week into downloading. So
it's nearly there.
Look at it,
nearly there.
And we're on Instagram. We're just Instagram. And
tell your friends if you enjoyed it.
Spread
the word.
You know how to do it. Tell me
Spread the word. Tell your friends. It's like a virus.
It is like a virus. We are spreading, and it's not just malware. We are. And we'll come back with an update next week of Tom's pubes.
We're trying to keep the episode short and sharp.
We are.
So we're thinking the sort of trip to work, sort of half-hour trip to work, nice and short and sharp. We got a bit long
who's
with a few
driving half an hour to fucking work? Everyone's driving about 45, 50 these days. Traffic.
Yeah, that's true. But maybe you can pop a song on afterwards. I don't know. But anyway, that's it for me.
See you later.
See you episode 29.
Good Banter.
Good Banter.